They never thought she would matter. To them, she was just another quiet girl blending into the background, easy to ignore, easy to underestimate. But that was their mistake. Because one day, when the janitor's daughter finally stood tall, she left them stunned, humbled, and forever changed. Her name was Meera. From the moment she entered school, she carried two burdens that weren't her fault: poverty and perception. Poverty, because her father Armin worked as the school janitor, cleaning classrooms long after students had left. And perception, because the world believed his daughter could never rise above that mop bucket and broom. It wasn't that Meera lacked talent or intelligence, far from it. She was sharp, observant, and carried within her a resilience most children her age couldn't even comprehend. But every time she raised her hand in class, teachers overlooked her. Every time she wanted to join a team or a club, the answer was always the same: sorry, we've already filled the spots. She wasn't just ignored, she was dismissed before she even had a chance. At first, Meera tried not to care. She told herself it didn't matter if they didn't notice her, as long as she worked hard and made her father proud. But even Armin, who loved his daughter more than anything in the world, saw the way her eyes dimmed each time she returned home from school, her shoulders heavier than her satchel. One evening, after finishing his shift, Armin found her sitting quietly on the steps outside their small home. Her notebooks lay open, covered with sketches of structures, bridges, towers, buildings so intricate they looked like they had been drawn by an architect. "What's this, Betty?" he asked softly, lowering himself beside her. She looked embarrassed, closing the notebook halfway. "Just drawings, Papa, they don't mean anything." Armin studied the lines, the precision, the imagination that burst from every page. His throat tightened. "Don't you ever say that," he whispered. "These drawings mean everything. They are proof of who you are, not who they say you are." Meera bit her lip. "But no one cares, Papa. To them, I'm just the janitor's daughter." Armin cupped her face in his rough hands, his voice trembling but firm. "Then one day, you will show them. And when you do, they will never forget it." His words sank deep into her heart. From that day forward, Meera poured herself into her studies. She stayed late in the library, teaching herself concepts that weren't even covered in her grade. She studied designs, blueprints, and mathematics with a hunger that no dismissal could quench. While her classmates wasted hours mocking her or gossiping, Meera was quietly preparing for a moment she couldn't yet see, but somehow knew would come. That moment arrived in her final year of school. The headmaster announced a statewide competition, Future Builders. It was an opportunity for students to present innovative designs that could solve real-world community problems. The winners would not only receive scholarships but also a chance to showcase their work at a national level. Excitement buzzed across the school. Groups quickly formed, with the wealthiest students leading teams backed by private tutors and expensive materials. Meera, as expected, was left out. Nobody invited her, nobody wanted her. But instead of feeling crushed, she remembered her father's words. "One day, you will show them." So she signed up alone. Whispers filled the hallway the moment her name appeared on the list. "She doesn't even own proper tools, what's she going to do? She'll embarrass herself. Watch, Future Builders. She should focus on cleaning floors like her father." The cruelty was sharp, but Meera let their words roll off her like water off stone. She went home, spread her notebooks across the floor, and began working. Night after night, she designed, erased, redrew, and calculated. Armin would come home tired, but seeing her hunched over her work gave him strength. He started bringing her scraps of cardboard, wires, and discarded items from the school that she repurposed into models. Weeks passed. The day of the competition arrived. The school auditorium was buzzing with energy. Parents sat proudly in the audience, dressed in polished suits and colorful saris. Students carried sleek posters, polished presentations, and fancy prototypes. And then there was Meera, walking in with her father's old toolbox and a model made from recycled materials, carefully held in her hands. Some laughed openly, others smirked, but Meera walked steadily, her head high, her eyes calm. When it was her turn, she stood on stage, her father watching nervously from the back row, mop still in hand because he hadn't even had time to change. She set down her model. A low-cost bridge design built entirely from affordable, local materials, something that could withstand floods and serve rural villages where people often lost their lives crossing unsafe rivers. The judges leaned forward, curiosity in their eyes. Meera spoke with clarity, her voice unwavering. She explained not just the design, but the purpose, the lives it could save, the communities it could connect, the children who could safely reach schools because of it. Every word carried conviction, every detail showed brilliance. By the time she finished, the auditorium was silent. The same students who had mocked her now sat frozen, their eyes wide. The teachers who had ignored her looked at each other, ashamed. And Armin, standing in the back, felt his chest swell with pride so great it brought tears to his eyes. When the results were announced, it was no surprise to those who had been paying attention. Meera won first place. The judges praised not only her creativity but also her heart, the fact that her design was born not from privilege, but from genuine understanding of real problems. The auditorium erupted in applause. For the first time, they weren't clapping out of politeness. They were clapping because they had been moved, humbled, inspired. Meera stood tall on that stage, clutching her certificate, her father's proud gaze meeting hers from the back of the hall. She was no longer just the janitor's daughter. She was a visionary, a builder of dreams, a girl who forced the world to see her worth. And as she looked out at the audience, the very people who had once doubted her, she felt no anger, no bitterness. Only quiet triumph, because she had proven something much bigger than herself. Greatness doesn't come from where you start. It comes from how high you dare to stand. That night, as father and daughter walked home under the streetlights, Armin whispered, "You did it, Meera. You stood tall." She smiled softly, clutching his hand. "No, Papa, we stood tall, and they never saw it coming."